Welcome to another Leepa Live Sports Talk. It's sports from the fans. Chris, you know how it is. I know how it is. This is a sports show from the fans' perspective. Chris, we've had another wild and crazy Thursday night game. How's it going on over there in Tampa Bay, Chris?
It's week 3, and I am so excited for this week. I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess it's probably the Patriots are playing your Detroit Lions, which I'm just so excited to watch that game tonight. And then we got the Bucks playing the Steelers. As a Patriots fan, I'm not a big fan of the Steelers, and I'm drinking the Kool-Aid about Fitzmagic. So I'm ready for. Unfortunately, I've got to wait till tonight and then tomorrow night to see those two games. But before that, there's a bunch of good games too. So we'll be talking about all those too.
There is a lot of good games. I don't have any Kool-Aid stains around my lips, as you could see. I called Fitzpatrick to be Fitzmagic prior to the season beginning. I didn't even want Jameis to be in the town Tampa Bay. I was thinking take an opportunity right now to trade him for somebody that you can get some value of, or you're going to have to pay this guy winning 5 games, 6 games. You're going to have to pay him $20 million next year. Who wants to do that for somebody that's supposed to keep on getting better and supposed to keep on maturing? I'm not so sure about that anymore with that. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I totally agree. If they could trade him and get something for him, I wouldn't be upset if they did that. But I want a little bit later on. I want to take a look at their schedule and let's see when there's really going to be a quarterback controversy. I don't think there's quarterback controversy until Fitzpatrick starts losing games and he starts throwing interceptions. He's got 4 touchdowns in each game. He's got 400 yards in these games. How long can he continue at that pace? As a Bucs fan, we hope he can for a while. It'll be interesting to see when Winston comes back what happens with that team.
Well, when Winston comes back, what he's going to be doing, he's going to be on the sideline clapping, and hopefully he doesn't put his hands on any of the opposing team's players like he has in the past from the sideline. The guy can't even control himself on the sideline when he's not playing, and that's something we're going to see. To me, it all has to do with something, and don't get me wrong when I say this, that something like where Jameis had a silver spoon in his mouth, and I'm not meaning from the perspective of the area he grew up in or anything like that. I'm meaning it from the perspective of being an elite athlete, that you've always gotten away with stuff because you're an elite athlete. And then there's some of your peers and everybody like this who only care about that. They're only caring about the money you're going to make them as you go through and what college you're going to, the revenue you're bringing there, and then, of course, the pro team. That's what I mean when I say that he's with the silver spoon in that sense, that he's always been, set up on somebody's shoulder and burped like a baby. That's what I mean when I say that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, he definitely gets a lot of rope and gets cut short there because he does stupid stuff with it. And when's it going to be the end? When are we going to say enough is enough with this guy? Yeah, I forget how old is he now, but he's got to mature as a human being and as an NFL football player.
He's a pro. He makes money going to work and being a pro. That's enough about Jameis, okay? Because this is Fitz, and they call it Fitzmagic. And I'm looking forward. I'm not seeing anything changing here with this guy. So let's go ahead and just shake and jive right now.
No. We're talking about it, so let's keep talking.
All right. Well, okay. So
let's look at their schedule. I said let's do it later, but I changed my mind, and I'm a fan, and I get to do what I want here because I'm half the show.
Yes.
So you look at their schedule. It started with the Saints, Eagles, and now the Steelers. Let's be honest. I think we both thought they were going to be 0-3, or what did you have? I had them being 0-3.
Yeah, but you messaged me this morning and you tried to throw me a curveball. You're acting like you're done with the Kool-Aid. Now you're saying you're drinking the Kool-Aid.
It's toss a coin for me right now. I'll be honest.
Looks like you're drinking milk. It doesn't look like you're drinking Kool-Aid.
So right, we both said they should be at least I thought they should be 0-3. Now
I was with you on that. I admit it.
Now worst case scenario, they're 2-1 and they could very easily be 3-0. Pittsburgh is who knows what's going on there right now. Then you go to the Bears, week 4. They should beat the Bears the way they're playing. Falcons is going to be a tough game at Falcons. That could be their first loss if they beat the Steelers. Browns, They looked pretty good last night with Baker Thursday night with Baker Mayfield. Bengals will be tough. At Panthers will be tough. Redskins, Giants, Niners, Panthers again, Saints again. At Ravens, at Cowboys, Falcons. Their schedule is not easy, but there's definitely, I forget what I had them at the beginning of the year. I think I had, I had the Bucks at, I think 6-10. Let me just go back.
I think you did. I think that
we both had them at 6-10.
Yeah, and there's a reason why we both had them at 6-10, and it's because we looked at the schedule and what's coming up on it. But I don't right now. And if I can take that back, I don't have them at 6-10 right now. There's no way.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, that 6-10 was with them losing their first 3 games.
Right, and I'll change that right now on the fly. No, I'll change that right now to 10-6. I know I can't change it on paper.
Yeah,
but I'm just gonna put it out there in week 3, 10-6 for these Buccaneers. 10-6, and I'll tell you what, right now, I wouldn't be surprised to see them go 11-5. 11-5.
I'll tell you this: I think the offense is a very good offense. We haven't seen a running game that we want to see yet. They got to get Barber going there, but their defense has played very well, and they're not even at full potential because of injuries right now. Vita Vea is out again this week. You haven't seen their defensive line is going to struggle in this game because they don't have the subs with those defensive players out. So, and I know it's going to be a night game, so the heat won't be as big of an issue. But these, John, you're a guy that's in tune with his body. Obviously, I'm not as much. But, these guys play in this heat every day, and they're practicing in the heat every day. How does that affect them when they go into a Sunday as opposed to Pittsburgh, who's playing in a cooler weather stadium, practicing in cooler weather? Does that heat get them exhausted through when it comes to Sunday? Or are they professionals?
No, absolutely. It matters, and there's a reason why it matters, just like in anything else. Chris, you and I have worked out together. We do slow resistance training, okay? Just that right there, slow resistance training. If you've never done super slow, high-intensity fitness training, then while you're doing these reps and you're having to sit there for an 8-second decline on a negative rep, if you haven't done that before, you're going to start having these voices and whatever. I do a lot of stuff outside. I'll run in the Florida heat, and I'll go for a run. I've got other people that I talk to that I know that are probably going to run 15 miles this weekend in Florida in the heat. If you don't do that, okay? If you don't do that and you start doing that, your body cannot recognize and condition in knowing what you're capable of. Everybody has those voices in your head. Anybody who's ever worked out, who's ever played at a high-level sport or anything, you're thinking, oh, I need a break, I need this. But what if you've already been doing that all week long? That's where you can dig in. You're more accustomed to it. And it's the same thing when you're dealing with these teams who are on turf all the time and they go on a natural grass field. The team that's used to playing in the snow, and then you get a team that's going up north, is going to happen. The Bucs are going to end up playing the total opposite game. Now, can they play when it's 9 degrees out there and it hurts when they get hit? So, yeah, it plays a huge factor playing in the heat. For Pittsburgh coming down here, this time of year, it won't be as big of a factor as it would be if you play in a late November game in Florida and it's 85 degrees is a different factor. But, yeah, Pittsburgh, do they wear white? They better hope they wear a white on their away jersey, because if they're wearing black, they're hot. So, yeah, Chris, it's a huge factor. I think it's a huge factor.
And I think it is too. I mean, you look at the defensive line, you got Vinny Curry, Gerald McCoy, Bo Allen and Vita Vea are both out. Pierre-Paul, Noah Spence. Those guys, to be good, they can't be playing 85% of the snaps they're too big and not conditioned enough to be able to play that kind of football for a full 4 quarters. You need to get Vita Vea healthy. You need to get Bo Allen healthy. You need those guys to be able to rotate in and give some of those other defensive linemen breathers so that they can get caught up. Because the way their offense, Tampa Bay offense, is working, they could be right back out 2 plays later because Fitzpatrick throws a bomb to Deshaun Jackson and they score a touchdown. So,
absolutely.
I really do. I am worried about the Bucs defensive line in this game against Pittsburgh.
Tell me why you're worried about the Bucs defensive line. Okay, what is it about the line that you're not thinking week 3 that they're getting it together and now they're going to step up and support this excitement in the locker room?
Well, first, the two big guys in Gerald McCoy and Jason Pierre-Paul, they're no spring chickens. They're older veterans that have some wear on their tires. Let's be honest. Does that make them bad players? No, by no means. But they're going to get worn out and tired, and we don't have the ability to back them up right now with the injuries we have on this team. I do see, Pittsburgh, they scored a lot of points against KC, and I think you'll see that again. This is going to be a high-scoring game. I'm pretty sure on that.
All right, fair enough. And I agree with you as well on that. It is going to be a high-scoring game. And I'm looking for Tampa Bay to come out on top. And I know with all these fans around here, I'm tired of hearing the jump on the bandwagon thing. More of jumping on the bandwagon to me are you local sportscasters. I'm calling you out right now, 6:20 a.m. You guys at the beginning of the season, I listen to you all the time, every one of you. First and foremost, I'll tell you this, even on the Rays baseball, our local baseball team, you guys call them out. It's over before it's even mathematically the equation. I don't like that. Anything is possible. I believe that all the time. Anything's possible. Stop counting people out before it happens. Every one of you on your sports shows say, no matter what Fitz does, Jameis comes back when the suspension's lifted. Every single one of you has changed your tune now, and you say you stay with the winning stuff. No kidding. No kidding, that's what you do. You guys are posers. I'm calling you out right now. Call it from the heart. Excuse me. That's why this show, that's the birth of this show right here. The birth of this show is that we're speaking from the fans' perspective. And I'm telling you right now, the fans come right here. They're coming from the heart. They're speaking from passion. I'm not trying to say what I want to say to make the players happy so I can catch an interview with one of them. I'm not about trying to go to one of these VIP parties where I can sit at the same table with one of these jocks, okay? I'm not starstruck. I'm calling it from the fans' perspective, the way we call it from the sports bars that we watch the games at, the way we call it from our friend's couch while we're eating nachos and jalapenos, the way we call it while we're sitting at the game in the bench. From the fans' perspective, I want all these Tampa Bay sportscasters, the local ones, and mostly when I'm listening to on 6:20 a.m., come on now. Get off of the bandwagon. You guys are the true bandwagon. Chris, do you listen to that?
I do, probably not as much as you do, but I do hear exactly what you're saying. It's they're drinking the Kool-Aid. You've been on the Kool-Aid since day one. You said since day one you liked Fitzpatrick and not a fan of Jameis Winston. So kudos to you on that. You made the right call on that. Let's move on from this quarterback controversy to the next quarterback controversy.
Talk to me. What do you got for the next one?
Thursday night's game, we saw Tyrod Taylor go down with his third concussion in 13 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
And first round pick, number 1 pick overall, Baker Mayfield comes in and gets the job done for Cleveland's first win in 635 days or something?
It was a huge first win. And Chris, I'll be the first one to tell you right now. We talked about that, and you heard what I said. I like Tyrod, and I didn't want him. I'm going to call him Taylor because he's got two pronounced. If you watched Hard Knocks on HBO, which I know you didn't, Chris, and I keep telling you to watch it, I watch HBO now, and so I get all this stuff. But if you watch Hard Knocks, he really doesn't pronounce his name Tyrod. Okay, he doesn't. But I'll call him Taylor. You can find out for yourself how to pronounce his name. Actually, right now, I'm going to take this right as we're going.
And I'm going to talk over it. The problem is if I get HBO, I'll start watching Game of Thrones. And then I'll never get anything done.
Rocco from Detroit, what is going on, my friend?
What's going on, guys?
Not too much.
What's going on, Rocco?
Not much. How's it going, man?
We're enemies today, brother. We're enemies today.
Yeah. Should be a good one.
It's going to be a good one, Rocco. Rocco.
We'll see what both teams are made of tonight.
Yeah. Hey, you cooled down a little bit up there, did you?
Yeah, it's perfect now. It's fall up here today.
Cool, man. I'm going to see you here next week. I'm flying in. I'll be your place on Saturday. I hope it stays right around 60 for me.
I think it's going to be right around 60s, yeah?
Yeah, I busted out my thermals, and I got my gloves and my winter hat. And make sure you get that heated blanket out of the closet for me.
Yeah. Bring it all, just in case.
Rocco, how about that Thursday night game? Hey, Rocco, first of all, did you fall asleep on that game, man?
I kind of did at the end.
Yeah, I was texting back and forth with you, and then Mayday, I lost you, buddy.
Yeah, that was a long day Thursday. I needed some sleep on that one.
You missed the best part of the game, man. That was a good game. What do you think about that game?
That was good. And they should have started with Mayfield from the beginning.
You think that?
Why not? They got rookie DBs in there. They got a rookie running back in there. Why not throw in the rookie quarterback?
Well, I was talking about that right when you called in, and I was like, even prior to that show, I was saying how I like Taylor, and I've watched Cleveland Browns take these first rounders all the time and throw them to the dogs way too fast. They didn't get a chance on the sideline to watch a veteran shake and bake. And shake and bake, that could be Baker's new thing there, shake and bake. But they didn't get the chance for that, and I was a little worried that if you throw this guy in there at the wrong time and he gets knocked around of what it was going to do. But I'll tell you, surprisingly, when he got in there, the guy has a highly impressive arm on him.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
a rocket.
It is a rocket. He bounced a couple of those passes. He didn't throw a bad pass. His guys just couldn't catch some of them.
All right. That one off Jarvis Landry's shoulder pad.
Oh, man.
That thing was zinging in there.
That's what you call on the numbers, and I'm telling you, you can kind of see the look on his face. He got drilled with that ball.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Chris, I'm going to turn you over to Rocco and let you go ahead and pick his brain on that game a little bit.
I look at Mayfield and say, I look at those three quarterbacks in Mayfield, Darnold, Josh Allen. Who's going to be the best quarterback of that class? And it's got to be Mayfield. Darnold and Josh Allen just aren't on good teams. And you know what? Mayfield will get a little bit of a break because he's on the Browns, and they're not usually a good team. But I think he's going to bring them in the next 2 years at least to a 500 ball, and then eventually to the playoffs. They've got too many first-round picks not to get better. So right. I'm looking forward to Cleveland in the next couple of years. And Darnold, I am just not sold on him yet. He has not had I don't think, even against Detroit, which is the one game he won, he didn't look that great. I thought, Stafford looked worse, but I didn't think Darnold had that great a game. And what was he this game? 15 for 31, 169 yards, 2 interceptions.
Rocco, who's the rookie quarterback for you?
It's got to be Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
It's got to be. He's got everything you need to be good.
He does. Why was everybody so hard on him coming out of college?
Because he's like a little flashy, probably a little bit of a manzio in him.
Yeah. Without the party, just more a cocky attitude, right?
Right. Just cocky, but confident.
Right. But that's what I want. I mean,
Right.
Rocco, you and I grew up playing sports together, playing stickball on the road. We talked smack, did we not?
Oh, yeah.
And isn't that part of it?
Yeah.
I mean, we play cards together and we talk smack.
It's just part of, it's part of...
competitive nature.
What's the word? Can't think of the word I'm trying to think of here.
It's just the way we are.
It's the way we are.
It's just the way we are.
And it's
that's the word.
Yeah, and it's kind of our era too, because you got to be sometimes these the youth can't take it as much, it seems like, but I mean, it's just kind of the way we are. And I think that when you're like that and you're a talker, and that's the way football used to be played anyway, but in sports in general, even when you watch it, it doesn't matter what sport I'm watching. I like someone talking and putting it out there, So
it should fuel most people.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it makes it more fun.
For sure.
I mean, I didn't like it, when I was at 23044 Purdue and I walked across the street to Big Ed, who was probably 30 years old and we were 12. You know, he was talking smack to kids, you know.
You like to play some prison ball.
He's like, yeah, we'll play some D-ball. I'm posting up, Johnny. I'm posting up. And he throws an elbow in your face. He was 35. We were 12.
He was a big dude, too.
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. We showed him, though. We showed him. You know, Rocco, you remember when we got cable TV? We were in the bushes changing his TV?
Yeah, I do remember that. That's funny.
So, Rocco, tell me this. Do you got an upset for the week here, Sunday football or Monday? You got an upset here, upset pick.
I think I do, and I'm going to have to go back on one of my picks that I made.
That's all right.
Day. I think Arizona's going to beat Chicago.
Whoa. Arizona going to beat Chicago. Why?
Because I think the coaches are going to pull their heads out of their asses and get David Johnson the ball. and Chicago's offense hasn't shown me anything. I mean, they got a good D. We'll see how they travel. You know.
Right.
All right, I'm marking that change. Is that official change?
Is that official?
That's official.
Oh.
That leaves just John with the pick and the Bears because me and you had the Cardinals at home.
Okay, well, there's a reason why. You guys both know why I picked the Bears, because I've never witnessed one man on a defense pick a defense or pick a team up so much. I'm going to see the same that Baker does with that offense. But here's the thing. You look at Mac, and I'm telling you right now, the quarterback in St. Louis first of all, he never is going to play a whole season. You need to have a backup when Bradford started. And he better be a good one. So this will be Bradford's last game of the season.
I think so. Either way, hurt or not, I think so.
And so hurt or not, you're still going with the Cardinals on this one.
They got to get David Johnson the ball. He's one of the best players in the league, and they haven't gotten him the ball in 2 weeks.
I like that, Rocco. I like that. And you know what? Chris marked you down. You called it official. He put you down for the pick. So we heard it here first.
They say they're going to line him back up in the slot like they did in 2016 when he was kicking ass. So why won't it work again? That's the way I'm thinking about it. And I don't think, like you're saying about Khalil Mack, I mean, 3 weeks in a row of some crazy defense.
Right.
I'll be really impressed if they pull it off. Okay,
so Rocco, after the show, I'm going to text you because I got to figure out where you're getting some of these cool stats, man. I just can't find them. You're pulling some stuff out this morning, man. I like it. You're telling me how they're going to line the offense up.
They have to. I mean, what do they have to lose?
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, what do you think about that pick? You sticking with yours?
Oh, yeah. I like the Cardinals there. You know, Trubisky's had a couple good games. He's done enough to get him a couple the split on the wins. They really should have won that Green Bay game. You know, there's no excuse for being up 21 points and then losing that game to Green Bay, other than the fact that they had Aaron Rodgers come back and just shred them.
And that just shows you that the defense can't do it all.
Yeah, that's definitely sure. You know, we didn't talk about Josh Rosen, the rookie quarterback for the Cardinals. If he comes in, can he do what Baker Mayfield did, you know, if Bradford goes down? That's something I wouldn't mind seeing, because I don't think Bradford's the answer there in Arizona. Right.
That's like the same situation with Mayfield. I mean, you're going to sit these two guys, you know, high drafted, coming out of college. You're going to sit them behind guys that they're not going to learn anything from.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get them in there. You know?
I like it, Rocco. You want to see these guys get thrown to the dogs? Let's find out sooner than later is what you're thinking.
Exactly. I mean, why waste it?
Chris?
I'm asking because I really don't know the answer. Did Drew Brees have a mentor when he came in as a rookie? He was on, what was he, on the Chargers?
He was on the Chargers.
Yeah, he was on the Chargers. I can't even tell
I think that well, I think what it was with Drew Brees is what happened is he did get thrown in there. He performed and then ripped his shoulder apart. And he had such a bad shoulder injury, they let him go. And the Saints said, you know what? Let's see the kid throw. And they seen him throw, and they're like, wow, we'll take him.
He's basically had 2 careers in one.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's how that goes. So
and plus he had LP. That helped a little bit.
Yeah.
I look at the 3 best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. And the reason I asked that about Drew Brees was Brady had the mentor in Drew Bledsoe. Rodgers had the mentor in Brett Favre. We'll have to look in to see who the mentor for Brees might have been. But those were high, those quarterbacks had good mentors that they sat behind for a while, learned from them, and turned them into greatness. We're not going to see that with Mayfield. He's going to have to learn on his own, maybe like Drew Brees did, and a lot of other quarterbacks too. But I really think it helps having that good mentor there for them to learn and a veteran to teach them the ropes of the NFL.
All right. Plus, it's just in his DNA, I think. The dude's a winner. He was a winner in college. He's got that mentality. He got drafted on a shitty team, but he's the number 1 overall pick. Get your ass in there.
Yeah.
Sit behind Tyrod Taylor. The guy has 30% passing rate. Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Is it Baker's team now, Rocco?
If he doesn't put him back in there to start, that coach needs to go.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. And same thing that happens. Rocco, we talked about it just before you called in. What do you think about the Fitzpatrick? Are you drinking the Kool-Aid or what do you think about Tampa, and what happens when Jameis comes back off of the suspension?
I don't think Jameis has his job back.
Okay, and are you for that?
Absolutely.
All right,
been given how many chances through college and professional now?
Yeah.
Is he going to straighten out? Is he the answer there? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. And Fitz magic, he's something else, I think, and I've always really liked the guy. Hey, Rocco, that we did have Murphman make his pick, and he's 3-0. You know that, right?
I knew he was 2-0. I didn't see the.
No, because he picked. Yeah, well, he picked, and he's actually now 3-0. So.
Wow.
Yeah, Murphman is 3-0. In fact, I'm going to put his pick up on our live screen right now. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Murphman has made his pick. He is 3-0. He did go with the Browns. And so Murphman is pretty hot. Me and Murphman are 3-0 on our Thursday picks.
Yeah, I want to see your pick before Murphman picks, though. I want to make sure you're just not picking whatever Murphman picks.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
At least I pick mine, and I'll take my one loss. But we've never seen you pick before Murphman.
Hey, Rocco.
Yeah.
This guy thinks I'm following a dog's picks. He thinks I'm following a dog's picks.
The dog pound.
You want to know something crazy today, Rocco? Murphman is having a birthday party today.
Oh, yeah?
The dude is so popular, it's not even funny. I got to put up a picture. I'm going to find it. I'll find it in a minute, and I'll put it up. You're going to have to go back at the show and look at it. He's got a birthday hat on and everything. It's hilarious. But as soon as we finish the show, Murph's got a party going on. Anyway, Rocco, we're going to close it out right now with you, and we're going to run through these games real quick. You're hanging out at the homestead, or are you going somewhere to watch the games today?
Probably just hanging out at home.
Cool. Make sure you tell the family I said hello, and I'll see everybody next Saturday.
All right, sounds good.
Awesome. All right, Rocco, take care.
Take care, Rocco. Have a good weekend.
All right, bye, guys.
Later. All right, so there's our Rocco Primo from Detroit, Michigan. Always a pleasure having him on the show. He's bringing the stats and the passion. That's what it's about. It's from the fans' perspective.
Rocco from Detroit, who picked the Patriots, by the way.
The guy is a world of knowledge, and you can't knock him on that. You can't. He's not going to be riding anybody's tails, but he might have something on the game. You got to think that sometimes.
He might have some inside info on Detroit up there.
He might just have money on New England.
Your boy Patricia.
Pat, I call him.
He's Pat now.
Patty.
All right, fair enough, and I agree with you as well on that.
Let's move on to the next couple games, and a game that I think has a lot to do is that Saints-Falcons game. They're both sitting at 1-1. Tampa Bay is leading that division with 2-0. The Falcons and the Saints both can't afford to lose this game. Saints is the breeze to Thomas, and then a run with Kamara to help keep everybody honest. Thomas is the guy there. He has 3 TDs, and a league high 28 receptions. Kamara's rushed for 75 yards, 2 TDs. He's got 15 catches for 165 yards and another TD. New Orleans, they could be 0-2 if Cleveland had a kicker, right? We're getting what we expected from the State offense because they're going to score touchdowns. They're gonna put up 25 to 35 points a game. But they need last year's defensive rookie of the year to step up because their defense has just not been there in the first 2 weeks of the season yet. And you got to go up against Julio Jones right now, and then Odell Beckham Jr. next week when they play the Giants. So the Giants defense really needs to step up in this game. On the other hand, the Falcons, they got kind of back on track with a win over Carolina the same way and look to beat the division foe, the Saints. Matty Ice had another good game last week where he did it with his feet. He had 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 passing TDs. So I look for Julio Jones. Obviously needs to have a good game against this weak New Orleans defense, as does Hooper, the tight end, and Calvin Ridley. That's somebody I'm really high on is Calvin Ridley this year. I think when Jones is going on all cylinders, that'll really open up for Ridley and Hooper. So I look for them to go after the suspect New Orleans defense and pull out a win there for Atlanta.
Yeah, okay. Well, I like your pick, Chris. I like what you're talking about. Divisional game here for us. So when you're talking the divisional game, you get my attention because I'm really not into any one of these games, and there's a very good reason why, because they're in the Tampa Bay division, and I'm looking for them to lose. But playing each other, I did pick the Atlanta Falcons on my pick. I'm sticking with that pick. Matty Ice is going to have an incredible game. He's going to figure this out in the red zone, not so much with Julio. He is going to use Julio as a decoy. They got to sharpen that running game up, get it going. And with that being said, I'm not very impressed with the New Orleans Saints. And I know Rocco's got the New Orleans Saints today, but Rocco, I'm sorry, not impressed with the New Orleans Saints. The Browns showed you why, unless I said before, are the Saints that bad or are the Browns that good? Okay, let's move right along on this. Chris, what's the next game you got for us here?
I got let's stick in the NFC okay. South there. You got the Panthers playing at 1-1, and they're going up against the Bengals. I just saw on ESPN that the Patriots almost traded Rob Gronkowski to Detroit in April. That would have been interesting.
Wow.
I'll have to read up on that a little bit later, obviously. But yeah, let's talk the Bengals. I mean, we watched that game the other night where the Bengals, just went down the field in the first half with 3 touchdowns to AJ Green. They looked amazing. Andy Dalton looked good. He had 265 yards passing, 4 TDs for Andy Dalton. They are a little bit banged up at running back, though. Mixon's hurt and out with a knee injury. And I believe Bernard and Thomas Rawls are both listed as questionable still. They need to be able to run the ball for him to be able to score for Dalton to be able to score 4 touchdowns again. If they don't have that running game, that's going to be a tough game for them against a really tough Carolina defense. The Panthers look to keep stride in the NFC South. If the Bucs continue to play like we've been saying, if they play the way they're playing, the division race is going to be crazy. The Panthers cannot have Cam be their leading rusher, though. They need McCaffrey to step up, C.J. Anderson to step up. They need to get the ball more to them. Their defense needs to be able to hold that game down and let them run the game and run the clock on those. If Cam continues to run the ball like he is and be their leading rusher, he's gonna get hurt. He's too big and strong, and his mentality to get that extra yard. I love that in him, and I'm not a big Cam Newton fan, but I like that how aggressive he is when he runs the ball. But I don't want that if I'm a Carolina fan because I'm afraid he's gonna get hurt.
No, I agree with you 100% on that. And he's a huge guy. When you really look at Cam, who's sitting there or standing next to some of these offensive and defensive players, line players. Okay, the guy is a big defensive end build. I mean, and he's just huge. So in the same token, that when you talk about, well, if he keeps on doing this, he's going to get hurt, and what's going to happen? So is whoever's trying to hit him. So it's one of two things are going to happen: is that he's going to get hurt, or the dummy trying to tackle him head on is going to get hurt, because this is like a big linebacker or a defensive end getting an interception and getting up to speed, and you trying to tackle him. So he's either going to take it or dish it, the punishment, any way it comes. But I don't so much worry about that than I do worried about what happens with Cam Newton when they start losing in his mentality, and what happens with his attitude in the huddle, on the bench, and everything else like that. That's something else. But I called it Thursday when we made our picks with Andy Dalton and the way that he's throwing the ball, the command he has with the offense, and the connection he has with some of his receivers. I'm looking for Cincy to beat up on one of our divisional teams again, the Panthers. And so come on, Cincy, and put the slapping down on the Panthers. Chris, who do you got next?
I just read a little bit about it. Who do you think nicks the trade to Detroit?
Who do I think? You mean when you're talking about the Gronk potential of going to Detroit?
Yeah.
And who messed that up?
I don't know, messed it up, but why didn't I? Who do you think was the person that said it's not going to happen?
Probably Tom Brady. He said, if you trade him, I'm gone. Probably Tom Brady said, I'll tell you right now, I'm playing in Boston and in the New England Patriots this year with Gronk, or why don't you go ahead and shop me while you're at it, or I'll just retire.
You've got the right mentality, but you've got the wrong player. It was Gronk. According to the report out of ESPN, Gronk said, I'm either staying in New England and paying with Tom Brady, or I'm retiring. Didn't talk to Detroit, didn't talk to any other teams that they were considered trading him to. He said he wants to play in New England with Tom Brady.
We're going to have to talk about the source on this one. This sounds a little. I think you just made the whole thing up, dude, just to throw a little more sauce into this Detroit thing. We couldn't entice him, huh? He didn't want to go to the D-Town?
Well, maybe if Josh McDaniels was there instead of Matt Patricia.
Maybe he don't like Patty.
That makes me like Gronk even more. That he's loyal to the team. That's one of the things I miss in professional sports right now is loyalty to the team. These players go wherever the money will take them, and you can't blame them for that.
You can't blame them at all. They're giving their bodies up for the sport for millionaires to become billionaires. I mean, it's a tough thing. I don't blame them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we all know. I'm a huge Patriots fan and homer for the Patriots. It's Brady takes less money to stay on the Patriots. He doesn't even make the most money in his family, so he can afford to do that. I like it when a player is able to stay on the same team. I think it hurt Brett Favre's legacy when he left Green Bay. I think it hurt Joe Montana's legacy when he went to KC. Not that their legacy, not that they weren't great players, but it just puts a little bit of sourness, I guess, in my mouth.
Right.
If Tom Brady decides to go somewhere else in the next 2 to 3 years, I'd be really disappointed because he needs to stay a New England Patriot.
Why, if they don't appreciate him and not going to let him play out, and he believes he can still play like Brett Favre did when it was time for Aaron Rodgers to take the helm? First of all, who is the New England Patriots going to have to replace Tom Brady?
Well, that piggybacks my opinion, John. They would not have traded Garoppolo if they thought Brady wasn't going to end out his career as a Patriot. They would not have traded Garoppolo.
You know what I think is going to happen, right? You know what I think is going to happen. We're not even on this game. We're going to have to switch right over to this game because we're not even on this game right now.
We've talked all the late games on Sunday night and Monday night.
Well, we're going right over to it now that we're here. Let's go right with it. Patriots at the Detroit Lions, and my homeboy Rocco went with the away team coming into D-Town, and he picked the Patriots. You know why? He's been beat down for years with these Detroit Lions. He sees it happening. They got no protection for a great quarterback. He's got 2 seconds to throw the ball. They just don't have it. But I called it in the very beginning. I'm going to call it again right now. Almost positive here that I called it again, didn't I, Chris? Chris, did I not call it again?
Call what?
The game. Yeah.
Yeah, you called Detroit, but you also picked them to be 13-3, and they could be start the season 0-3, so they got to go 13-0 to finish out the season for what your prediction to be right. So I'll be honest, if Detroit does have a possibility of winning this game because the Patriots are dinged up on defense. Their safety Chung is out.
Don't start trying to make excuses that they're going to lose. They're going to lose because they're coming into D-Town.
I'm trying to do some unbiased reporting here.
Okay, I like it.
So you have Flowers. Flowers is out with a concussion too, and then cornerback Eric Rowe is out with a concussion too. Rowe didn't have a concussion. He had a hamstring or something. So they are a bit dinged up there, but usually it's next man up, and the Patriots can overcome that. I see it being a closer game than I want, but I don't think Detroit's in this game at all. They're going to have to rely on Stafford's arm to beat them. Usually I say who do the Patriots need to take out in this game, out of the game from a defensive point of view? Is it Kerryon Johnson or Theo Riddick? I don't think so. I think your plan is to get to Stafford, make him feel uncomfortable, and get Golden Tate out of the game. That leaves it open for Kenny Galladay, who I'm high on, but I just don't think that Detroit has the firepower to do it or the defense to beat them too.
Well, with me, and my perspective on this is this. You've had a couple tough games for those Detroit Lions. I do believe in the locker room, like I've said it from week 1 preseason. This is the year that the New England Patriots unravel. What a better time for it to happen than in D-Town. I don't know. Maybe they stayed up all night long gambling. If you've ever been to Detroit, you know the casinos there. Yeah, hopefully they stayed in the hotel for your sake, Chris. But I am going for Detroit to take down New England today, or not today in the late game, right?
Yeah.
So
if they were at the casino late last night, it's okay because they can sleep in because it's a late game. But you look at Detroit's schedule coming after the Patriots. They got at Cowboys, against the Packers, then at Dolphins, and then home against the Seahawks. Their schedule is not getting any easier. They've got a tough road in front of them. But like I do, I like Matt Patricia. If anybody knows the Patriots, it's Matt Patricia. He went up against the offense for 14 years as a defensive coach or defensive coordinator for 7 or 8 of those years. So this will be an interesting game. Typically, the coordinators that leave Belichick's teams don't do well against them. So I'm hoping that streak kind of continues.
Yeah, well, the streak is going to continue in the sense that New England's coming into Detroit and going to have a big loss. And I just can't wait for our next show because I will rub it in a little bit, just a little bit. While I am okay, Chris. Final thought on that game.
I don't remember what week in the show we did it, but we did bet wings at Rusty Bellies on this game, just in case you forgot.
Did you remember or make that? Was this in a dream or is this reality?
Oh no, we'll go back to the tape. I wrote it down in my notes too, just so you wouldn't forget.
You did.
I did.
Okay.
So we kind of look
at
that.
I'm getting something happening.
You got
here.
Somebody calling in?
I do have.
Probably another bill collector.
Here we go. Let's see who we got here. Hello and welcome to the Leepa Live Sports Show. You are now on FaceTime. How can I help you?
It's the sports snake.
Absolutely. Back one more time with us. Yes, again. What is going on, Mr. Sports Maniac?
We have retired Sports Maniac. And now it's the sports snake.
And who is this?
This is the sports snake. Live from Florida.
Dude, that is absolutely and 100% an awesome mask. I've never even seen that before.
Sports Maniac has been suspended. Sports Snake.
What do you got for us today, Sports Snake?
Today I got some slithery, slimy, venomous news for you. So, I bet you didn't know that Gronkowski's job was on the line for a little bit. I also bet you didn't know there's yet another controversy with girlfriend beaters in the NFL.
Uh-oh.
And then we have very exclusive information that Gruden is running a shadow organization inside of the Raiders.
Wow! Wow, that right there,
Not
that
following any rules, buddy.
that right there is some breaking. Now the Gronk thing we kind of got a little bit on because Chris is such a freak over those Boston people that he knew a little. But wait a second here on this. You're telling me that Gruden, Chucky, he's doing what?
John Gruden is reportedly not using any of the in-house staff to manage the team. Raiders coach John Gruden evaluates personnel. Check this out. By bringing in his own team of consultants, including Director of Football Research Dave Rossano. Meaning, he hires all his buddies to come in, all their interns to come in, and that's how he makes his draft picks, and that's how he decides on personnel.
Wow. That's big news. Is that something that's going to work? I mean, is that something that can actually work with Raider Nation? Or is that an ego?
He handpicks his scouts. They've all done good, but it is rather untraditional.
Wow. Hey, I got to get you to show me that T-shirt there. What does that say?
It's my favorite band, Sex Swing.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Nice shirt. Nice get up all the way around. So,
Sports Snake is slithering into LeepaLive.com like a venomous little slimy slitherer.
so you got some breaking news. You're saying we have another beater in the NFL. Is this?
Bills running back LaShawn McCoy.
That's a no good. And this, I heard a little bit about this thing. Chris, what do you got for us on that?
You know, it happened a while ago, I think, but it's just getting worse for LaShawn McCoy. He's the only person that is any good on that Bills offense, and he's horrible. He hasn't done anything this year. They're even talking about maybe trading him to the Bucs and giving the Bucs a running game. It's not good for LaShawn McCoy right now, unless he does get traded, maybe.
No, it's not good at
It's
all.
another girlfriend coming out, and this time she has even worse allegations. Not only was he physically abusive and verbally abusive to the child, he actually would take his gifts back from her.
What? Taking his gifts back?
He was one of those people who would show up at the door in the middle of the night when he was angry, remembering something you said to him, and he would take the necklace back.
That's pretty sad, actually. So, Bruce, our what do they call it? Snake? What is it? Snake?
Slithering snake.
What is it?
The slithering snake.
The slithering snake. I like it.
Sports Snake!
Sports snake.
Got it. Well, that's what I like is that I don't know who's going to call in on this show or FaceTime in. That's what keeps it interesting. The slithering snake. Do you have a favorite team, Mr. Snake?
Yes,
Who is your favorite team?
the Death Valley King Cobras.
Oh, the
They're my
Death.
favorite hockey team.
That's awesome. I like it.
Amateur hockey, by the way.
I like it. I like it a lot.
With the rules. Listen, guys, it was great calling in. I love talking to you guys, but I've got an 11:30 with Tiger Woods Donald Trump and the mascot from Bob's Big Boy. Yes, he's still alive. We're working on a top secret project. We're opening up a football restaurant.
Wow! I mean, you just don't stop, do you? You're a man of many faces.
I'm a man of many faces. It was great talking to you guys. Sports Snake signing off. LeepaLive.com.
Thanks again, buddy. Take care. See you next time. You gotta love the FaceTime call-ins, Chris. You gotta love that when you get the FaceTime call-ins. And so everybody knows I am live. You can call the show whenever you want to. So if you want to be live too, then you know what to do. Just call in the number you see at the bottom of your screen. It is 727-243-8727. 727-243-8727. You can actually use the same number to FaceTime in, as you just saw. We are not screening any calls. We're not screening any Facebook messages or anything like that. With that being said, let's move right along on the sports show here.
I'm going to skip around on you a little bit, John, from what I think we planned on. You know, the not normal that we talk about 2 0-2 teams being a game of the week. I really see this Giants-Texans game as a crucial game for both teams. It's you look at them; they're both 0-2. They both are playoff contenders. I think we both had them at. Let's see, we had the Giants at 11-5 for you, John, and me. I had them at 9-7, and then Houston. I think we both had at 9-7. I'll have to go back and look at that one. But I had Houston at 11-5, and you had them at 9-7. So a little bit swap on our picks there, but who's going to show up in this game? If you got OBJ and Barkley and Manning against Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, and J.J. Watt. I'm really surprised that they're both 0-2 here. I didn't think we'd see that out of both these teams. This is going to be a battle. This is going to be a battle for who's going to make the playoffs there.
It is going to be a battle, and when you get into a situation like this, and you're having both teams that need a win, we talked about this on Thursday, which is why you, Rocco, and myself all picked the home team Texans, because not just because it's home, but if I'm 0-2, it's kind of crazy to say that you're 0-2 and your season's on the line, okay? But I think that this is a really go-to game where you're kind of seeing, okay, here we are. If you go 0-3, something's going to happen. I mean, there's something going to happen. There's going to be some changes made, and there are going to be some dramatic changes, because the last thing you want to do is go 0-4, start out the season. So I'm looking for the Texans to have a good game, bounce back. I think it's going to be a defensive game. I think the Texans defense is going to be the winner here. They're going to stop New York and just give them a hell of a time all day long.
Yeah, I agree there that the Texan defense is what's going to carry that game. Defensively, you got J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, and Whitney Marsalis. They just need to put pressure on Manning and make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket, and they should come out of there with the win. I'm looking at both teams being 0-2. They in week 1, the Giants lost to Jacksonville and the Texans lost to Patriots. You didn't expect either of those teams to win either of those games, to be honest with you. And then Dallas lost to the Giants and Texans lost to Tennessee. Those are games they probably both should have won when you look at it at the beginning of the season. I just think that Houston's going to be that much better. It's, as we've seen over the last 2 years, New York's kind of on the decline. Texas is on the upcline, especially if Deshaun Watson gets back to where he was playing last year. I look for Fuller and Hopkins to have good games in this game, and I think Watson and Lamar Middle will battle over who have more rushing yards in this game.
It sounds good, Chris. Sounds all good. Is there any other particular game, Chris, that you really want to talk about? I know you've highlighted several games. Throw me another one here. We've got about 6 minutes of program time left.
All right. I'll let you pick between two, and maybe we can get to them both. Let's Packers versus Redskins or Colts against the Eagles.
Let's do it. Let's try to do them both. Let's try to do them both. So we'll go right with the Packers at the Redskins.
right.
And we'll try to get to both of them. Go ahead, Chris.
The Redskins are coming in with the number 1 ranked defense in total yards allowed at just under 500 yards per game. But let's be honest, that's a 2-week sample, and they've played Arizona and Indy. And Arizona, Bradford's just horrible. Johnson hasn't done anything. Indy, Luck is not back to where he was before his injury. He had all kinds of little dink and dunk passes, which is what the Colts are going to do. But they're just not back to the potent offense that we've seen in the past. Packers, it's going to depend on Rodgers and whether his knee is back and whether he can, how mobile he'll be in the pocket. If he's mobile in the pocket, this isn't even going to be a close game. The Packers destroy him. If he's a little bit less mobile, it could be a close game. I'm all Packers on this.
I'm with you on that. I'm all Packers on this as well. And the reason being is because of who the quarterback is in Green Bay. And I don't think that he has to be. Rodgers, to me, doesn't have to be 100%. He's got such a great arm. So his knee at 75% wins them the game. It's just he's just an elite quarterback, and he's playing what I don't think is a very good defensive Redskins team. So definitely 100% on that, Chris. I am going with the Packers. Like me, you, and Rocco all picked the Packers for that game. Let's scoot right along here. The Colts at the Eagles. The Colts at the Eagles is going to be a game. And with the Colts at the Eagles, on that one that you and Rocco took the Eagles to win this game. And I picked the enthusiastic drew a blank there. Andrew Luck. I picked the enthusiastic Andrew Luck to have an incredible game against the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. So why are you still sticking with Philly on this team, Chris?
This is one of the games that I picked on Thursday that I could consider changing, but I'm not going to change. I do have the Eagles. I'm going to stick with the Eagles. Ajayi's going to be out, which is going to hurt them. You're going to look for Corey Clement to be running the ball. But we got one player that this game comes down to. Carson Wentz is back. Carson Wentz is the quarterback of the Eagles again.
Is he coming back too soon, Chris?
I don't think so. I think he's ready to play. He hasn't been hit, which is going to be the difference maker. It's he hasn't played live football. Yes, he's been at practicing, but he's got the red shirt on and doesn't get hit. So you're going to need to see what happens when he gets hit in these games because he's going to get hit. But I just think that the Eagles' offense is much better with him in it than it was with Nick Foles. Nothing against Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles. I'll give him credit there where credit is due. But this team is definitely better with Wentz as the quarterback.
Okay, so then my question to you is, do you think that the Philadelphia play call is going to be a little different with that offense so that you can try to get this confidence up and maybe not so much rollouts and things like that? Little dump passes. He'll play a little bit more like Brady today. What do you think about that?
I think you'll see both from both quarterbacks. You'll see the dink and dunk, screen passes, the pass to the sidelines and then run it behind the screens. You're going to see a lot of that. You're not going to see many long bombs in this game, but I also this game could be a close game. I really think that. I want to see Andrew Luck be back to where he was 2 years ago. And this could be a game where he makes the point to saying that he is back. And I hope he does. But I'm still picking the Eagles.
I got you on that. I'm looking for the Andrew Luck to give my pick because I got to stay up on top of these stats. All right, let's wrap this all up. Before we go into wrapping it up, one thing that's very important to us at the show, if everybody's been paying attention to the show, what's extremely important to the show is Murph Man. And if you do not yet know Murph Man, he is the little Boston Terrier that makes picks. He's 3-0. He picked the Cleveland Browns to last week to make them 3-0 on his Thursday game picks. Well, that being said, Murph Man turns 1 year old today. There he is with his birthday hat on. And let's see if we can zoom in a little bit on Murphman here because he's just such a cool dog. So today, Murphman has a party. I went to 400% on the Zoom. I think we got to back out a little bit there. Sorry, Murphman.
Happy birthday, Murph.
Yeah, Murphman. Where are you? There he is, right there, Murphman. He is 1 year old today, and it's going to be a birthday party with a bunch of dogs wearing birthday hats. It's going to be something pretty crazy over there at Murphman's house. Chris, are you going to be going to the Murphman party?
I'm going to the Murphman party. And you know what? I'm glad to see with that little hat, his head didn't get too big being 3-0.
His head did not get too big going 3-0. Let's wrap this up. Don't forget, everybody, let me get the whole rundown here with you. Just remember, if you have not ever called into the show, you can call into the show. That's what we want you to do. Call into the show. And it's all about the fans. Remember that. It is all about the fans. That's what this show's for. So if you have not done so yet, make sure that you call into the show. You can register. You can find us. Leepa Live is on YouTube. Go to YouTube and search for Leepa Live. You will find Leepa Live. That's where you can watch the streams. If you don't, if you want to miss an episode, if you have missed it, go to leepalive.com where you're going to find a ton of other content. And depending on your area, there's more cities involved in this every day. You want to find somewhere cool to eat. You want to find somewhere cool to get your hair cut. You want to find a great chiropractor in your area. Go to leapalive.com and check out all the content that's there. Register to be part of that show. It's very simple, fast, and easy. Just go to leapalive.com, hit the register button. You're logged in and ready to go. You call in the show, FaceTime the show, leave your comments, anything you want to. If you have not yet liked the Leepa Live, go to Facebook, like the Leepa Live page. We'd be happy to have you involved with a lot of the things that are happening throughout the week. It's not just the Thursday, and it's not just the Sunday program. There's lots of things going on at leapalive.com. There's a number at the bottom of the screen. We look forward to having you guys register and call in next time on the show. Chris, in closing,
like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm just really excited for this week 3. I think there's so many good games from Saints, Falcons, Colts, Eagles, Bengals, Panthers. But the game I'm looking forward to is our game tonight, Johnny. Detroit against the Patriots. And then again Monday night, the Bucs against the Steelers. There's some phenomenal games this week, and I can't wait to see what happens in all of them.
I personally cannot wait to see what happens in all of them either. I'm looking forward to the show. I'm looking forward to the Thursday show. I'm looking forward to the Sunday show. I'm going to be doing the Thursday show and the Sunday show. I'm flying into Detroit for the week. I'll be cruising around most of Michigan. So if you want to hook up, let me know. You know what? You can also be part of the show with me if you're in the Detroit area. Get a hold of me. You know how to get a hold of me. So if you want to be part of the show, that's the thing that you really want to do. For Chris and John, Leepa Live Sports, we will see everybody next Thursday. Enjoy your Sunday football.